Hey, with the market hotter than ever moving into 2022, you already know this, I don't have to tell you, but if you're considering renting versus purchasing, there are a few things that you need to know that are going to be big and influential in how you actually move forward. Stick around. Hey, Logan Williamson here representing Williamson Professional Real Estate Sales. I'm a full-time real estate agent up here in the Greater Reno Sparks, Lake Tahoe, Carson City area, and I would love to speak with you about any questions that you have related to executing a real estate plan or what it is like to work, eat, live, sleep, or play up here in this area. You can go to talktologan.com, get on my calendar directly. I've got clients reaching out to me from all over the world every day about what it's like to live up here or how to execute a plan to relocate up here, and I would love to help you. It's never too early to discuss things, but it could be too late. So don't hesitate, just get on my calendar. Now, as a full-time agent up here, there are clients, as you can imagine, that are reaching out with every single different personal situation you can imagine. People definitively have a start date for an employment opportunity. They're moving up here to the area. Some people are looking for their forever dream home. They're downscaling, they're liquidating an estate, and they're trying to come up here to retire. All over the board. Maybe it's a first-time family that's trying to scale up and they're transferring to the area. Maybe they work remotely. They're not considering any sort of a commute to the office or traffic bottlenecks because it's not a concern. So many different scenarios, and that's why you work with a diligent agent, because as somebody that has now become extremely proficient in helping clients relocate, you want to get these answers before you make any sort of a rash decision. I want to discuss a couple specific metrics to give you real intel as to what's happening up here. And then generally speaking, I want to let you make your own decisions after we have a conversation. So first things first, getting into this, as an agent, I want you to understand that real estate agents do not do rentals up here in this market. This is not an international port city. You work with a property manager. However, you're going to want to be connected with the best property managers up here if you do choose to rent. And on the flip side of that, this video is not going to be all about being an advocate on you purchasing a home, because that's not what I'm here to do. I want to give you information to make educated decisions for yourself, for your family, and just make sure that we pick the plan that is going to be the best for you to execute. Now, Realtor.com just came out with statistics, and over the course of 2021, rent rates increased by 19.3%. On the flip side of that, CoreLogix just came out with their metrics, their forecast, their projections for 2022, saying that they presume that property values are going to inflate again 9.6%, almost 10% just for the sake of using a round number. So you look at a couple different things. It's going to be expensive no matter what you do. Renting is going to be expensive. Purchasing is going to be expensive. But let's talk about what's possible. That's the reason for this video. If we talk about certain things, if you're looking for your dream home, if you're not even going to consider something like writing an offer sight unseen, if you don't want to consider doing something like waiving an appraisal contingency in a multiple offer situation, these are all things that are going to be required to get the job done for you up here in a purchase situation. So let's discuss what is going to be possible. Let's leave purchasing on the table. Let's talk about renting. Renting is almost as competitive right now as buying new construction. It's not as easy as just going and signing on the dotted line. And what I mean by that is if you're looking for a single family home to rent right now up here in the Greater Reno area, essentially, if you're looking at the standard 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a yard, 1,400 square feet, pet friendly, some of these property managers in town, some of my partners have hundreds of people on these waiting lists. Now, sometimes there is a diamond in the rough that comes up and some people are less interested when the time comes than they were. Some people aren't shopping anymore, you name it. But what I'm getting at is there's no guarantee you're gonna find a single family home to actually rent. The inventory is extremely low and the rent rates are going to be extremely expensive. Let's not even discuss price for the nature of this conversation. If you do decide that you're going to rent based on timeline, based on the logistics of your move, are you selling another property? How can we write non-contingent offers for you? What does the timing look like? That's why I need to get you on the phone. That's why we need to have a conversation to figure out what makes sense. But if you are planning on renting, just know that single family homes are extremely hard to come by. I would love to talk to you about that. I work with some of the largest property managers in town that can really help you, but there's also tools that you can leverage, things like Facebook Marketplace, hotbats.com, a couple things that are going to be able to get you at least into the conversation of being able to do some due diligence and see inventory. Now, if you're looking at a potential apartment, new apartments they're popping up left and right all over town. a lot of apartments, some of these communities are already sold out into the fall of 2023. So something that you need to consider if you're looking at apartment is that, again, a short-term lease, 30, 60 days is probably going to be really hard to find. You're probably looking at a year-long term, just like a single family home if you were to find one. And then beyond that, you have to know that it's going to take a lot of phone calls. Pounding the phone is going to be inevitable to find an apartment. You should be able to find something, but the first questions to ask, one, I would say go straight to the highest level manager that you possibly can in these private property management offices beside of these apartment complexes or townhome communities, and just say, what is your availability? This is what I'm trying to do. Could I pay upfront in cash for a term to get more of a discounted rate? Is that something that would make me more competitive? Just ask the immediate questions right away. Don't beat around the bush, because what I'm finding is that my clients are reaching out, they're having these long-winded conversations with apartment complexes and property management companies, and they're just going, all that information was inaccurate. We're finding that, okay, we were going to do everything that they told us that we were going to do, and all of a sudden they still can't get us into a place. So just know that no matter what you want to do right now on the rental side, try to be respectful of your own time and just be very direct with the questions that you ask about inventory and availability, dates and rates. Okay, now let's flip. Let's talk about a potential purchase. So there is a cost that would be associated with waiting. Obviously, building equity is something that would be wonderful if it makes sense for you. However, it's almost inevitable that you're going to be getting yourself into a multiple offer situation up here. Typically, the way the process is working, if you're looking to actually make a purchase, it's going to be dependent on a lot of different things. If you're looking at a certain loan product that we would consider a jumbo loan over $650,000, that's going to be a prolonged escrow process. That's going to be a 45 to 60 day or longer escrow compared to something that's underneath that, where you're going to be looking at potentially 31 days or sooner to close escrow. To get into escrow, to get into the escrow where we can now execute on your inspection and your appraisal, those different timelines throughout the contract, you are going to be in multiple offer situations almost inevitably. So you have to consider that there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to find something and be absolutely thrilled about it. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to, one, discuss your criteria list. I'll tell you exactly what you can expect. If you're looking for RV parking, 4+ bedrooms, an acre and a half plus, if you're looking at a proximity to a certain side of town, many different things are going to determine where you're going to land as far as shopping. And it's almost going to be definitive over the course of a quick conversation. I can tell you exactly where you're going to want to look and why. And once we narrow that down, again, it's going to depend on that criteria. It's going to depend on your price range. And then from there, it's going to be basically on somebody like me to help you be as competitive as possible when getting under contract. Now, if you're coming in with cash, you're going to want to writing a non-contingent offer, not contingent on the purchase of another home in another market. That's going to make you the most competitive. Cash, non-contingent. If you are coming in with financing, you're going to have a pre-qualification letter. Proof of funds would be required for a cash offer. Pre-qualification letter from a Nevada licensed lender would be required if you're going to come in and finance the property with a mortgage. Writing a contingent offer based on the sale of another home in another market, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to find a home and get your offer accepted up here. Who you work with on your agent side, how much effort they do as far as their communication skills and the communication that they have to get you intel on any offers that are on the table. The lender that you have, whose name is on the letterhead of the pre-qualification letter, is more important now than ever. A diligent listing agent's first thing they're going to do is get on the horn with your particular lender, make sure that things are bulletproof. I can tell you there are certain companies out there with 2 clicks you get pre-qualified. They're not very well respected in the industry for a lot of different horrific reasons that I won't get into right now, but you have to work with strategic professionals that are going to make you as competitive as possible, and hopefully you can find something that you love with maybe that fallback plan of renting if and when the time comes. Again, it's going to be dependent on so many different things. You want to try to minimize the stress, and who you work with is going to allow you to do that at the highest level possible. But you need the right information and you need the right strategies that are working right now. So all that being said, I would love the opportunity to speak with you. You can go to talktologan.com. There's a ton of information that can't be touched on in a quick video, but we can touch on that conversation or that information throughout the course of our conversation. So please reach out, talktologan.com. I would love the opportunity to speak with you. Anything you see on the screen is exactly what you need to see next. If you haven't already done so, please like the video, comment, subscribe. Talk to you soon.